Hello, you lovely lot. This is a little bit raw, but I wanted to practice this method of imperfectly perfect. And so, welcome. So grateful you're here. And even more grateful for the beautiful depth and honesty and the soul level presence that you all brought to our community, the Zoom session. So I really wanted to grab an opportunity sooner rather than later to thread things together, our reflections on the dream work, and we looked at fears, which consequently, you may not feel this, but this is about breakthroughs. And so I'm going to shape this into something cohesive here and get this energetic message to you while it's fresh. So what came through was, and there's no such thing as randomness, by the way. I feel random is a magic word for saying we're onto something. So this was timely. It was a mirror for where we're all at, or collectively, in the awakening process, because you will all have plugged into some of the work. And so you have frequency running through your system of that join you together through me. So stepping into your own, becoming, and the two cards that I drew prior to the call carried a clear message about readiness. Okay, so I want to emphasize that it was highlighting growth and this aligned manifestation. So you're all here because you're stepping into your soulful purpose, which is why the group was soft, it was open, it was curious, because that's what brings in the soulful purpose. So even though there was a few cameras off, we still had presence. And what I really loved was how you were all open to lean into the invitation. True Angelina style, you listen intuitively as opposed to analytically. The analytics come through. So it comes through when the gateway unfolds. And because the core question of the evening was, where am I still afraid of the power I'm asking for? Because we all want it. Let's be honest. Empowerment. And every single story, from relationships to career shifts, I brought in dream work and somebody else. And it all went back to this subject of the fear of our power, the fear of the acceleration. So I've been getting this dream, this tiger metaphor come in, woven into any time I do a Zoom. And so this is a distinct message that I'm being guided to facilitate, and that's one of personal power. It's the part that refuses to be tamed. So many of you will resonate deeply. You do resonate deeply, shall we say. And one of our members expressed something around having that experience of being so close to power, being around power, that you can just taste it, yet holding back, because stepping forward, this is what we came up with, this is how I felt, stepping forward feels like stepping into the unknown. So we spoke about manifestation, how it's often not a lack of readiness, but it's a fear of acceleration. So let's talk about the fear of acceleration. It's about your soul already being ready. If you think about you are all ready. You are all ready. Already? And you're ready long before your mind admits it, because the heart leads first. The transformation and the tiger archetype was expanded on by a member who consequently had a beautiful dream around a tiger cub. I kid you not. And I promise you, we had no idea. He had no idea that I had connected with this archetype myself. So together we explored this tension between wanting to nurture others and the tendency to over-rescue, which is a theme born from love in disguise, but is actually rooted in fear. So this led into this deeper realization that transformation, let's look at it about not taming the wild parts of ourselves. Okay, let's look at it as becoming a vessel that's strong enough to hold them. We have to be ready, and so that is not about perfection. This is about self-honesty. To honor the self is the readiness we need. So what does this mean? We spoke about the very human experience of relationships, because that's how we become connected. And a member shared something about grief on a draining relationship, letting that go. Someone else spoke about the positive recognition being a trigger to create paralysis as opposed to this momentum. And I likened it to the Kabbalistic teachings of what is known as taking one's energy and energy stealing, they say. Because sometimes we feel threatened when we haven't fully made peace with our own worth. And these themes brought us into this collective exhale, being witnessed. It's not a danger, it's a doorway. And the vocations we spoke about, the identity and the courage to begin again, because as one member shared this extraordinary story, it was years of leadership in a high stakes project. What a weight of responsibility, but within it a deep identity rupture that comes with a career when you pour yourself into a career, and this was suddenly dissolved. So the honesty of that experience really opened up a profound conversation. And we talked about knowing where your voice is valued, the grief that comes before reinvention, and the immigrant from our ancestors in our bloodline, the work ethic and the fear of stillness. And we spoke about free will and waiting for the right moment versus creating the right moment. And so what I reflected back was that stagnation may not be stagnation. And stillness can be the cocoon phase of becoming. I just love the way that our member put that, and how that spoke to the cards I read prior to the Zoom. See, we're all in tune. And there was a lovely affirmation by a member sharing that sometimes the most sacred work is the work that looks like nothing on the outside. I always say the problems get solved behind the scenes. So returning to self was returning to self was a theme. The wholeness, the reflection, and relatability. And this is how the call ended, with that collective realization. Every person in that Zoom room was in a moment of becoming. We are in a moment of becoming. So we're reclaiming something lost pieces, or forgotten. And we're here to remind each other. And it's a moment of stepping out of roles, expectations, and self-doubt. And we're stepping back into aligned manifestation, alignment with the deeper self, the self we explore throughout Awakening the Psychic Within. So wherever you're leaving friendships and changing careers and healing family wounds, we are all learning to trust this intuitive yes. It's the same truth echoed through everyone's share. You will always receive what you need. I always say this: we receive what we need, not what you want. And so what you need right now is self-acceptance and groundedness and boundaries and the courage to honor your authentic path. So the closing message as we move into the next 2 weeks, Christmas is coming, and until our next session, I would love you to reflect on this. Feel it in. Where am I still afraid of my own acceleration? What would it mean to excel to my highest power and fulfill my wildest dreams? What would happen if I allowed myself to move forward anyway? Your intuition is already speaking, and your path is already unfolding, and you are far more ready than you think. I'll be sending your written notes, my written notes. It's so like school. Life is one big school. And if anything else lands for you over the coming days, please share it with me. I love when the conversations, they continue after the call. So thank you for your openness. Thank you for your vulnerability. And thank you for awakening with me. So we're doing this together. And until next time, much love. And I shall say goodbye.